Hello, welcome to my channel Ponvaira Citadel. In the last two videos, we saw syllogism and we learned how to work out problems in syllogism. And you have also learned about what a preposition is and the four types of prepositions A, E, I, O, where A type and E type of prepositions are universal types, where A is universal positive and E is universal negative. I and O are of particular type, where I is particular positive and O is particular negative. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the square of opposition as proposed by Aristotle. Definitely a question or two is expected from the square of opposition. So listen to the entire video and try to solve the problems given at the end. It's very easy. Even those who are having UGC-NET exam on December 7th or 8th, they can also learn this. It takes only 10 or 15 minutes to learn it. It's very easy, don't skip it. So what is a square of opposition? It is a doctrine proposed by Aristotle in the 4th century BC. And this square of opposition still continues to be used in logic, though there are many criticisms against this square of opposition, but still it is in use today. It is a collection of logical relationships and it is traditionally represented by a square diagram. And usually questions based on square of oppositions are framed in such a way that a statement or a proposition is given and it is stated as true or as false, whichever the case may be, and the candidate is asked to pick the true proposition or false proposition from a set of 3 or 4 propositions. Got it? See, what you are looking at in this slide is the square of opposition. And this we have already seen in the previous video. Anyway, I will explain it again. Here you have a square with 4 corners named as A, E, I, O. So you should name it in the same way, in the same order. A here, E here, I and O here. You should not change it. Otherwise it is you will get confused. So we know that A and E type of prepositions are universal type. A is universal positive and E is universal negative. That means A prepositions will say all boys or girls. And E type of preposition says no one is. No apple is a mango. Universal. And I and O are particular type, where I is particular positive and O statement is particular negative. Example is that we say some students are good, some are, for I type of statement, and for O type we say some students are not good. So that is particular negative, O type. Now you should never forget this. So now we have labeled all the 4 corners of the square, and between A and A you should write contraries. That means the relationship between A type of statement and E type of statement is contrary. A and E are contraries. And these 2 diagonals. This is one diagonal, EI, and AO. or contradictories. See here, contradictories. AOEI or contradictories. And the relationship between I and O is sub-contrary. And the relationship between A and I is subaltern. And also the relationship between E and O is subaltern. See here, labels are there. So this you should learn. So you should learn how to draw this and write the correct relationship, because this is very, very important to learn it by heart 100%, without which it is impossible to solve the problem. It is quite easy to learn. And now we will see what is meant by contradictory relationship, contrary relationship, sub-contrary relationship, and subaltern relationship one by one. We said the prepositions A and O are contradictory. A and O are contradictory. We will see what is contradictory first. And similarly, prepositions E and I are contradictories. These two diagonals. What is the meaning of contradictory preposition? This means when I say A and O are contradictory, and if A is true, the preposition A is true, then the preposition O with the same subject and predicate. I repeat, this means that if A is true, then O with the same subject and same predicate will be false. That is contradictory. You know the meaning of the word contradiction, the reverse. And in the same way, if O is true, then A will be false. Again, remember, they must have the same subject and same predicate. This is called contradictory. Same thing with E and I. The relationship between A and I is also contradictory. So that means, I repeat, if A is true, I will be false. If E is false, then I will be true. The same way, if I is true, E will be false. If I is false, E will be true. So this is the meaning of contradictory preposition. Now coming to contraries. A and E are contraries prepositions. The relationship between A and E are contrary. What is contrary? That means they cannot be true together. These both cannot be true together, but they can be false together. This means that if A is true, then we can definitely say E is false, because we have said they cannot be true together. But if A is false, we cannot say anything about E, because it could be false or it could be true. So we cannot say anything, definitely. In the same way, if E is true, then A is definitely false. Remember the rule for contrary, that they cannot be true together, but can be false together. And if E is false, nothing can be said about A. And coming to the relationship sub-contrary. This relationship exists between the I and O type, sub-contrary. What does it mean? This means they cannot be false together. but they can be true together. That is, if I is false, then O is definitely true because they cannot be false together. But if I is true, we cannot say anything about O. In the same way, if O is false, then I must be true. But if O is true, nothing can be said about I. This is subcontrary. And coming to subaltern type of relationship. So this relationship, subaltern, remember this always. Truth flows downwards and false goes upwards. Truth flows downwards and false goes upwards. And this relationship is similar to implication we studied under immediate inference. So the subaltern relationship is between A and I. If A is true, then I is also true. Why? Because the truth flows down. If A is true, I is also true. If E is true, O is also true. But if A is false, then nothing can be said about I. In the same way, if I is false, then A is false. Why? Because false goes upwards. Same relationship exists between E and O. That is, if E is true, truth goes down. O is also true. But if E is false, nothing can be said about O. The same way, if O is false, false goes up, E is also false. But if O is true, nothing can be said about E. You got it? False goes up. So this diagram, this square of opposition, explains the relationship between the various types of prepositions. What are the types of relationship? Contradictory. The two diagonals are contradictory, and this one, the top one is contrary and the bottommost is subcontrary. The two lateral ones are subalterns. You know what is what. Got it? So get this clear into your mind. See, this table represents the summary of all the relationship which we discussed right now in the previous slide. If you are able to draw the square of opposition with contradictory and contrary, subcontrary, subalterns, everything correct position, you need not mark this table. But if you cannot draw the square, you have to mark this table. No other go. Either way, either that or this you have to learn in order to solve the problem. So this one, you write, this is the type of the first column depicts the type of the prepositions. A type. To A could be true or A could be false. And E type statement could be true or it could be false. I type statement, it could be true or it could be false. Same way, O type statement, it could be true or it could be false. So 8 types of prepositions. So this table you have to mark. If A type is true, then I will be true and OE will be false. And if A statement is false, then O will be true. Nothing can be said anything about the other OE and all. If the cell is blank, that means nothing could be said about the other types. If E is true, then O will be true. and A and I will be false. If E is false, then I will be true. Nothing could be said about the other prepositions. And if I is true, then E will be false. Nothing else could be said. And if I is false, E and O will be true and A will be false. If O is true, A will be false. Nothing can be said about the other prepositions. And if O is false, A and I will be true and E will be false. So, if you are able to mug this, okay. Otherwise, I cannot mug it. I know how to draw the square and I will deduce my answer from the square. But if you think that drawing the square is more confusing than mugging this table, go ahead. So either one you have to follow for solving the problems. Now read this first problem carefully. Which of the following is contradictory to the statement, no plants are animals? Now first find out the type of preposition. No plants are animals. What type is it? No plants. So universal negative. That means E type. What is contradictory? That is diagonal, diagonally opposite. This is contradictory. What type of preposition is in the diagonally opposite I type? Here you see diagonally opposite to E is I type. It says contradictory. So you should select from these four types of statement, I type statement. You have to select I type. You should see which one is I type. Go one by one. Some plants are not animal. Some are not. That means this is O type. First statement is O type. And the second B statement, some plants are animals. Some are. That means I type, our answer. We want only I type, no? Opposite to E is I. We want I. And you have to check all these statements because there might be a combination, two or more statements. All plants are animals. What type is it? All are. A type. Third, C is A type. And the fourth one is all animals are plants. See here, the predicate and subject is reversed. We don't want that. I have told you all this contradictory, contrary, subalterns, everything is only when the subject and predicate are the same. So here plants are the subject, animals are the predicate. But here in this, it is reversed. So we need not consider this. So which is the correct answer? The one which contains the I type. B statement contains. The B option contains I type of statement. So the correct answer is B. See, look at the second problem. It says, if the statement, some students are not eligible to write the exam, is given as false, then which of the following statements can be inferred to be true? So four statements are given. Now again, you have to draw the same square, name the corners as A, E, I, O, and put the specification. What type of statement? All are. No one is. And I is some are. O type is some are not. And write the relationship, put the arrow mark and write the relationship between E and I as the contradictory, A and O as contradictory, A and E as contrary, and I and O as sub-contrary, and A and I as subalterns, and E and O as subalterns. First draw the square and find out the given statement. Some students are not eligible to write the exam. What type of statement is this? Some are not. That means particular negative, O type, isn't it? So this is given as false. So they say the O type statement O is false. What could be true? That's what we have to find out. So this is false. We know this false goes upwards, right? So E will be false. False goes upwards. E type of statement will be false. Find out which is E. E type is no one is. Universal negative. All students are not eligible. All students are eligible. So this will be false. But we don't want false. We want to pick out the true one. So E is false. And it's not there. No student is not there. So we need not worry about it. And see this statement. O with A type is contradictory. So find out what is the A type. A type all are universal positive. Which one is universal positive? This is universal negative. So we don't want that. And all students are eligible. All students are eligible. This is universal positive. All are A type. So A type here is true or false? It will be true because relationship between O and A is contradictory. So if O is false, we know that already from the given question. O is false, so the diagonally opposite A will be true. So this B is true. B is true. And see the next statement. And then O with I. We know O, the relationship between O and I is sub-contrary. What is sub-contrary? They cannot be false together. Contraries, they cannot be true together. But sub-contraries, they cannot be false together. Both O and I cannot be false together. That means now we know that O is false. So I cannot be false. I must be true. I must be true. Find out which statement here is I type. Some are positive, particular positive. Some students are eligible, particular positive. So the C is also true. B, C. And what about D? All eligible to write the exam are students. This statement we are not going to consider because the subject and predicate are changed. Here the students are the subject and write the exam. The exam is the predicate, but here it has been interchanged. So we are not going to look into this. So answer is B and C only. See? First to find out the type of the statement and write there whether it is false or true. Then find out the relationship with other statements with this square. Now read the question, third question. Which of the following statements are related in such a way that they both cannot be false together, but both can be true? Remember, both cannot be false together is sub-contrary. Contrary is both cannot be true together. Sub-contrary is both cannot be false together. So you have to first find out which relationship is in such a way that they both cannot be false together. This happens in the sub-contrary type of relationship. That is between I and O type of statement. Now you have to find out from these statements which are I type, which are O type. Find out now. the type of preposition. Some students are boys. What type is that? Some are. I type, right? And the second B statement, all students are boy. All are. A type. This one is A type. No student is a boy. E type. No one. Universal negative. E. And some students are not. Some not. O type. So now we want only I and O, because I and O only show sub-contrary relationship, which means that they both cannot be false together, but both can be true. So I and O. First one is A. A is I and D is O. So A and D. The answer is A and D. It's as simple as that. Well, friends, we have come to the end of the video, and please try to learn how to draw the square. It is very important. You must learn to draw the square and label all the kind of relationship between the. First draw the square, then name the corner as A, E, I, O. Then the two diagonals are contradictory, and the topmost is contrary. Bottom is sub-contrary, and the two horizontal lines A, I and E, O are subalterns. So this you should never forget. Only then you can solve the problem or mug the table. So that way you can score marks easily in the problems given from square of opposition. And good luck to all those who are appearing for the NET exam in December. Good luck. Bye bye.